What's up, everybody? It's Kyle once again with another episode of Hillsborough and Hunterdon Real, where I get to interview a lot of the local experts and local leaders in the community. And today I have a longtime friend, somebody I've known for a long time, Chad Kennedy. So, Chad, thanks for being with me, buddy.
Hey, Kyle. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. So I know Chad, of course, man. We've known each other for a long time. Going through middle school, high school. Even before that with Little League and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's been a real long time. So why don't you, before we dive into it, just kind of give everybody, a little insight where you're living now. Tell us about, any children. I know you got Chase, but just so people kind of get a feel for you, and then I'll dive into some questions.
All right, yeah, man. I grew up in Hillsborough. I had an amazing family. Played sports all up into high school. I have an amazing son, and as weird as it sounds, I have an amazing ex too. So we're still really close. We not only for him, but for us too. We want what's best for him, and yeah. So that's about it, man. Everything I do now is for him.
Cool.
So
how old is Chase now? He's 5?
He's 6. He'll be in September.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're living in Hillsborough still?
I still live in Hillsborough. Yeah. I was basically born and raised here, so I never left.
Well, that's like a lot of people, I think, right? When they grow up,
yeah.
Hillsborough.
Yeah, they say they're, but then they never do.
Hard to leave, man.
It's hard to leave family and good friends. As much as I would want to move, I can never move.
Yeah, it's very difficult to leave, man. Me and Devin talk about it sometimes, but it's tough to leave that, your home base.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So growing up, what sports did you play, and what would you say was your favorite sport?
I played football and baseball. Football was probably my favorite sport. I played baseball in high school a little bit, but I was more of like a class clown. So I kind of got the tensions a little bit, and not a disrespectful one, but I just like to mess around. So I kind of got kicked off the team for it. So I just stuck with football after my sophomore year, and that was my thing. So
I remember even in baseball, though, Little League, you were a really good pitcher, correct? Is my memory serving me correct?
I did pitch. Yeah. I had some control issues, but
you threw fast, though. I remember
that. Yeah, I just didn't know how to control it too well, But yeah, I love sports, and I think the football part, the best part for me was I just love to hit people, and the physical part, and and especially the connections I made, with my teammates and stuff. And I still have longtime friends from there. And I was supposed to play in college, but I just didn't want to practice anymore. I just wanted to enjoy myself, and I just told the coach that, ironically ended up shattering my hand from messing around. And I couldn't really work out. So I kind of just used that as an excuse that I didn't want to play. So, but I miss it. I definitely miss.
Where were you supposed to play in college? I forgot about
that. I went to Wilkes University.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't last there too long. School wasn't really for me. I didn't really have a clear path to what I wanted to do. So it was kind of like I was wasting money, and, I only lasted about a year there. I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So
cool,
I was, then right after that, I was fortunate enough to get an electrical union. So I was in there for about 5 years. And then during my 20s, I kind of took a wrong turn that kind of really screwed up my entire 20s. So I was kind of all over the place. I didn't have a clear path to what I wanted to do. And, to kind of get into it, I got, an old football injury came back and I got prescribed painkillers, and it was like, that's all she wrote. And it was like 5-6 years of just going from a happy kid and, sociable to basically just living in the gutter, losing people. And it was pretty tough. But
So once you left college, you kind of lost your path, and the injury, the pain came back.
I don't know exactly, but it was just, I don't know exactly how it went down, but I went in for, I think it was for my lower back or something, and they just prescribed me painkillers, and I was like, oh, I've seen other people take them. I didn't even think twice about it. And I remember that first night, I was like, wow, man, like takes all my worries away. And, I just felt so relaxed because I was always kind of like anxiety ridden. So it kind of took that away. And I came to realize I have a bad addictive personality,
Well, how long? So when you started, all right, so you got on the painkillers, was it like Oxy or Percocet or something like that?
Yeah, it was like, Percocets, Vicodin.
So the doc prescribes them, and then at what point do you realize that that's like becoming an issue for you? Like how long into taking them?
It was probably when I started seeking them out, like I kept going back for refills. They would say no, and then I'd be, calling friends that I knew were doing them, and then when I couldn't get them, which is the worst part, you get sick from it, and it's mentally, physically the worst thing, you can go through. And then it was kind of like, but I still didn't realize that, probably after a few years, in that clouded, being so, my memory and, a foggy brain, and, I had like stints of moments of clarity, and I didn't care, it was just like, oh, I'll just go get more. And then I would get sick again. And, it was just, then I lost I didn't really lose it, but I kind of quit being an electrician. So it was, and then, what really, really got to me is I started doing stuff I was raised not to do, like I was stealing from people, just doing stuff my parents, taught me not to do. And that's when I kind of realized that this is pretty bad,
So you were going to, you were still for a while going into the job in the electrical union, right?
Yeah.
Was anybody noticing like, hey, something's going on with Chad, or was it like, who was it really just your conscience finally got to you, or somebody there that kind of said, hey man, what are you doing?
No, because I really wouldn't, while I was being an electrician, I wouldn't really take them there. At the end I started to, it was more like, oh, I'll take them at night. And then it turned into, I'm taking them every few hours, and it was kind of, I think my parents, my brother, they were all really supportive in their own way. They started cutting me off and finding things, and it was just a snowball effect,
Sure. So that went on for, like you said, 5 years.
You know what? It's 2009 is when
When it started. When you stopped.
I stopped. Yeah. My mom gave me this bracelet that's from 2009. It says that's when I was good. And, I remember one of my dad's friends dying, and, I just couldn't live with myself from all the stuff that I did to him. If something happened to them, and I remember that day that I was like, oh, I'm done with this. And, I had a I had a friend who owned a hair salon, and I kind of cut my friend's hair, like after high school, just doing fades and stuff. And she encouraged me to go to school for it. And so I started doing that. And, if it wasn't for the support and all that, and just being so done with it, I was just like, what am I doing with myself? I'm 29 years old. This has got to be it. And that's what I talked to you about before. I feel like there's chapters, and everything happens for a reason. And that's when I met my ex-wife, basically when I was, like 5 months clean. And that's why I'll be forever grateful for her, because she gave me the most important thing to me in my life right now that keeps me going. And, so I think, I don't know what would happen to me if I didn't meet her, didn't have my son up until now, so I don't regret anything I did. I used to just pity myself and be like, oh, my 20s screwed up my head, I'm not strong. But now I think the opposite.
Yeah, it's where all the strengths come from, the weakness.
Yeah, right. And it kind of brings up a thing. I've been trading equities and for the past probably 6 years, and there's just something that I loved about it, and the first few years I kept quitting because I would lose money. And I was like, you know what, because of my 20s and all the crap I went through, I'm just so weak. My mind is weak. I don't have discipline. I don't have patience. But it's just amazing, because now I think, for the past few years, I've been, it's basically changed my life. But now I'm thinking that, if it wasn't for all that crap that I went through, I wouldn't have been able to become profitable with trading. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird how things happen. I thought I was super weak, and with trading, you're dealing with every single emotion, from greed, patience, fear, and you go full tilt and you start to gamble, and it kind of made me realize that I'm not as weak-minded as I thought I was, So I think the past 5 years, I'm coming to that realization that I'm glad things happened the way they did, because I always thought, what if I didn't take that pill that one day, or what if, where would my life be? It would probably be different. I'd be better. But now it's like, I'm glad I took that. I'm glad I went through that adversity and learned and made myself stronger, physically and mentally, working out, that's changed my life. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's that struggle, man, that makes us grow.
Absolutely.
Because you might have still been, not that there's anything wrong with it, but you still might have been in the union, had you not gone down that path. Whatever that case may be, so all this stuff, right?
Exactly. And ironically, I met my wife at a family doctor's office, so, and I was there for that. So if I didn't, I wouldn't have had Chase, I would have never met her. So it's, so yeah, it's a good thing.
It is, man. And that's, you can reframe it. You always reframe stuff, what's great about this, and that's excellent how you've done it. It's a great example for people. Now, to go down that path, when you realize there's a problem, did you wind up going to like rehab, or did you just try to do it on your own?
I did. Yeah, the final time I went away for 30 days, and I came back, and then I did a little bit of, messing around again. But that's when everything from rehab and, my dad's friend dying, that all came together. And it was like, I remember where I was sitting, on the couch, and I was like, I know nobody believes me, but I'm just done. I'm done with this,
And that was it.
That was it. Yeah. it's crazy. But, and people ask me, like people that are close to me, they get worried about me going back, and, and I know they don't know it, but to me, it's not even an option because of where I've come. And especially for my son, I want to be a role model for him, and I'll do anything for him. So it wouldn't even be I think about it, but I would never,
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I mean, people have, we're always going to have different temptations that are there.
Yeah.
A decision that's it, and I think it's big of you to admit that you think about it. So, I mean, everybody, like if somebody says, hey, I got no worries, or I got no.
Yeah, right.
Truth, man. So, and Chase is kind of like the rocket fuel, man. When we have kids and children, then it puts everything really in perspective. For me, I know, it wasn't until just recently where I think I'm finally figuring out what it starts to mean to be like a man or a father. You could be a man with a great team, but you're not a man yet. Maybe physically, but
you're absolutely right. Right? I know. Because I see, I see different ways people father, and I do it kind of differently. Like I appreciate the time, and you're exactly right. You want to teach them and guide them through situations, and you want them to look up to you. And, I just love it, and even I have one son, but I look at my nephews like they're my sons too. I love them. I like to teach them stuff, and, it's amazing. And they do change your life. People that say they don't want kids, as soon as they have one, they realize the greatness of it,
Yeah. It's to me, it's tough to fathom life without them, or having human experience without children. When you have love greater than yourself.
That's so true. That's so true.
So let's go back. So because that's a pretty big contrast too from what you were doing as far as an electrician to opening the hair studio.
Yeah.
So in high school, you started getting into cutting hair, right? But like, where did that even come from?
It's just that all of us friends sitting around and somebody saying they needed a haircut, and I had buzzers. I was like, let me just try it for you, and then that kind of turned into, I like the barbering part, and that kind of turned into like a friend would call and say, can we all get haircuts? And I come over there and do it. But I never really thought anything about it. It was just like, I was just doing them a favor and helping them out, and that's when later on, after my head was clear, I started doing it again, and I started realizing, like the gratification that came with it, like making somebody else feel good. And I felt like so many people put their time to help me and support me. I felt like I needed to give back. So that was kind of my giving back, but I didn't think it would take me this far,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I love it. It turned into wanting to go to barber school, but then realizing through a friend encouraging me that you'll make so much more money doing women's hair, so that's how that all kind of started. I would have never thought I would have been owning a hair salon right now.
It's fascinating, but I mean, so talk about that aspect too, because as a guy, there had to be some element, or maybe not, that when you decide, okay, I'm going to open a hair studio, and the primary clientele is going to be women.
Yeah.
Other guys, what are you doing? Yeah, that's not a you went from electrician, this blue collar thing, to this. So like, what was the psyche and the mindset with that? Did you just say, I don't care? Or was it like, man, like, talk us through the mindset?
Yeah, like I honestly didn't care. It didn't bother me. I still to this day I get that stereotype, and it doesn't bother me, but I after I went to school, I ended up going to LA, Santa Monica, for Vidal Sassoon school for it was like 3 months, and there was a ton of guys there, and it kind of, it kind of changed because there wasn't really a lot of guys doing hair around here, and I realized that there are plenty of guys that do it and that are good, and so, yeah, I mean, that didn't really bother me at all. I've been kind of getting it my whole life, so I just shrug it off. It's good.
So then when you decide, 2009, you got sober with the pain meds. Then what year do you remember? Do you remember what year it was when you said you were actually going to open your own studio?
Yeah, and that's the other funny thing. There's just so much drama involved with doing it. Not to get into too much, but there's just a lot of drama. And I was kind of like over it at that point. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll go do this or do that and do this on the side. And that's another example of how I think things happen for a reason. That, a client just happened to, her dad knew the guy that was selling it. And she asked me about it, and I was, putting it off. I was like, how am I going to own a salon? Like, I don't have a lot of money. And ironically, I met him out at Home Goods the one day, and I've never seen him before, so it was weird. And he said, you know what, just stop over there and just talk to the guy for a second. And you don't have to do nothing. And then I went over and talked to him, and I was like, wow, like I could definitely do this. And yeah, it kind of made me my own boss too, which was the best decision I ever made. So it kind of switched my mindset of I could turn this salon into more of like a comfortable, family oriented place where people could come and trust each other. And that's what I wanted, something where it was like a home for people. And, so yeah, that's why I'm a firm believer in things happen for a reason, and
Yeah.
I was just dealt a good hand and at that point. So,
Well, yeah, I mean, you found it would have been easy to play the victim, right?
exactly. Yeah.
But you didn't do that. And so I don't even know the whole history of the studio. So somebody else owned it first?
Yes. Yeah, it was a an older gentleman. He was kind of, more of a barber, and I kind of never even knew he was there. But he was there forever. He wanted to retire, he wanted to sell it, and I ended up picking it up. A month into it, I closed it down, ripped the whole place apart, and just redid everything, and it became what it is now,
What was it called prior to you taking over ownership?
It was called World of Hair.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And the previous owner, he was a great guy. He helped me out. He stayed there with me for a little while. I was just nervous as all hell. I remember the night before we opened, it was my first ever, I had a panic attack. I was like, what the hell's going on? It was just like, I had a kid and a wife, and what happens if nobody shows up, and I was so nervous, but I have a great crew there, and I can leave and not worry about a thing there, and that's how I want it to be. I don't want to be up their butts. They know I trust them, and I treat them right, so they'll treat the clients right,
Yeah, it's great, man. So with all the, I know exactly what you're saying with the nerves when you first open, man. What if it doesn't work? And but that's a good example for people, right? A lot of people want to wait till they have like a guaranteed home run. Doesn't exist.
I know. And it's funny how things usually always end up working out,
Yeah. Yeah. I was walking with a buddy a couple weeks ago, and I was talking with him about, every time when you look back, at least in what I've seen, things always work out,
Yeah.
It's literally nothing to worry about. When you look back, you're always taken care of. It always works out.
That's true.
Which,
That's
what, when you ripped up the place, did you do all the demo yourself since you're like a handy guy, or did you have somebody come in and do that?
No, we did it all ourselves. I kind of had a vision of what I wanted to do, and, I have a good, friend group and family group, and they all came in and helped me. I had one guy come in and help me with the tile and stuff, but yeah, like Frank came in and helped me with the electrical, and we just banged that out. And, yeah, but I'm still, it's just like my mind, I'm always wanting to change stuff. So
Sure.
around like 3 times already.
No, I
No.
mean, it's a really good, vibe over there. Nice homey feel. Like, I think that's what you were going for.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
nice, man. It's good business. Very good business. And yeah, because I know Devin goes over there. Braxton with the mullet. So I got.
Yeah,
Did you hear about what just happened to Colty?
I did. Yes.
So for those people that don't know, when Braxton turned 3, a little after he was 3, like it was October, he turned 3 in September, and he said he's like, I want to get my hair cut. He hadn't had a haircut. And I said, all right, I'll take care of that. And I told Devin repeatedly that I was going to go to Chad and get a mullet the next week. So I'd reach out to you, and you're like, you serious? I'm like, yeah. I told Devin we're going to do a mullet. And I brought Braxton in. I was showing somebody the pictures the other day because the Colt story made me bring all this stuff back up. And Chad said, you really want a mullet? I said, yeah, let's do a mullet. I thought it was awesome. Like, it was.
I agree.
And now the mullet's coming back. I'm like, man, we were ahead of the time. But
That's right.
and it took a little while for it to set in with Devin, even though I told her. But I don't know if she didn't believe me, or she wasn't. Maybe it was his first haircut. And then I remember she reached out to you. She's like, "What'd you do?"
You're in the doghouse for a little while, but that was the best, most amazing haircut I've ever did, man.
It was great. It was great. He's sitting there with his lollipop. He's getting
Yeah.
great, man.
That was Kentucky waterfall. That was a beautiful thing.
It was fantastic. And
It was.
it was funny the other day when it was a week ago. I got home and sent Tina to sit her home, and then I heard the boys. Devin was still working at the gym, and they come up, and I said, "What are you guys doing up? Mom's not going to be happy if you're up." "Oh, we're still hungry." So they get the fruits. They take some fruit snacks. They go back down. Braxton comes back up. Said, "Dad, they usually squeeze them open." He goes, "Dad, I can't pop it open. Can I get the scissors?" "All right, take the scissors, but get to bed before Mom gets home." So she gets home. We still hear them down there. I'm like, let me finish my bowl of fruit. I'll go put them to bed, whatever. They're in the room. I go into the room, and they try to scramble for the bed. They had the lights on, and Braxton didn't make it. And he's like, "Dad," he goes, "we took it to the next level." I go, "What do you mean?" He points to the floor. He goes, "We cut Colty's hair." I'm like, "What do you mean you cut his hair?" And so Colty's 4 now. He's actually 4 today. Never had a haircut. So his hair, you've seen it. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess he wanted a haircut. So Braxton took it. But I don't even know how he did it. He got it really close. I don't know how Colt sat still for that. He didn't cut him. Took it off. So I went upstairs, and I'm like, I threw some of the hair on the table. I'm like, "Devin, he cut his hair." And she's like, "What do you mean he cut his?" I said, "He cut off his hair. Like, it's all gone." And but in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about the mullet. I'm like, so I was like, I'm just gonna give her space.
Yeah, right.
So I said, I think it was that night I was joking with you later on. I'm like, well, Brax could always go work for Chad. I said, he obviously has some kind of.
Yeah, we can specialize him. Yeah, I heard about that, and I was wondering how Devin would react, because I know how she is with. They got nice hair,
And it was. I was like, it was time. We had to cut his hair sooner or later.
Yeah.
I never thought that he might have a story that could almost rival Braxton's first haircut.
Yeah.
Bring him in and bring it up, and so they're both just as good, man. But
yeah, that's good memory.
It's great, dude. It's
You
great.
hear about that, but you can't really. It always grew up.
I was writing the emails for next week, and I said, look, I think we've gone over this before. If you're going to laugh about it later, laugh about it now. Why are you going to wait?
You're right. You're exactly right.
It's a funny thing, it's, it was great.
I know it always grows back, you know.
Look back. I mean, and then he'll be old enough at that point to decide what to verbalize what he wants to do with it,
Exactly.
all that. So
There's
tell
a
him,
lot,
what's that?
there's a lot worse that could happen.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, totally, totally. So tell us, like, who are your clientele as far as like, so when people hear this and they listen to it, maybe they're just moving to the area or they're looking for a new spot to go. Like, do you have a specialty of who you specialize in? Can men come there too? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we kind of do everybody, anywhere from barbering, not this, we don't do the straight shaves and all that, but we do basically everything. I kind of built up a clientele where I'm kind of booked, and so I'm doing a lot more like touch ups and the haircuts for longtime clients, and then when new people come in that want like the balayage. I mean, I do all the highlights and the balayage and stuff, but the other girls, they're few of them specialize in that. So yeah, we take everybody. Normally we can't take walk-ins, but because everybody's kind of booked, it's hard, but yeah, we don't discriminate, and we'll take anybody.
Sure.
We love doing kids too. So
awesome. What
yeah.
I mean, that's that's another example, guys. I mean, when people hear this, you guys are booked solid. I know you're booked like months out, right? So that's a testament to what you guys are doing.
Yeah. It's while, I think about that because I never think of myself as being successful. I don't know. I don't. But then when I think about stuff like that, it's like, all right, maybe I should pat myself on the back just one time or something, but.
Yeah. And I know what you're saying, man. I mean, success is really a moving target, but it's,
yeah, right.
And then you start evaluating, okay, I think a lot of people, and I made that mistake sometimes with some of the businesses, is you could fall into that trap of thinking more is better,
Yeah.
you get bigger, and say, what am I doing? Like, you can be content at some point with the business if you're providing the culture you want and you're making a living. Now you can do the day trading and get into some other stuff.
You're exactly right. I know. So many people have asked me if I'm going to open up another one or expand, and I don't really want to. I like the little family atmosphere we have, and I don't want to go corporate. And it's just I trade at 6 a.m. until about opening bell, and I'm done, and I go to work, and I can't complain. It's life is good now, and I don't want more stress. So
that's it. Being clear on your mission,
Yeah. So it's all good. I'm the type that wants to keep going, but I don't want to burn myself out with that either. I know bigger places come bigger stress, and
sure.
With the trading, that's where I found my niche, and I could do that and have best of both worlds.
Yeah, great, man. It's very great. What would you say 5 years from now? Like, what would you see for your life?
I can't say it would really change. I don't want to be working as much, but I can't feel like I can just pick and choose clients because I've been so, I've gained such a good relationship with a lot of them. So it's hard to be not to take them, but, with my back is shot, so I don't know, I can't really tell.
Okay. And what would you say if you were to go back and give the 20-year-old version of yourself a piece of advice? What would you tell
them? I would probably say don't be afraid to fail at stuff, at things that, if you're passionate about something, everybody's telling you can't do it, the amount of times you get knocked down, it's all about dealing with adversity, and it's not about getting knocked down. It's about how you get back up and move forward. Life stinks, man. It's tough. and it throws you curveballs all the time. And I think it's how you deal with them that defines who you are, mentally and, financially.
Sure. Exactly. And where can, if people are looking to come patron your place or possibly become a client, where can they find out more information? Because I'll put this in the notes too, but what's the best way to get in touch with the studio?
It would probably be to call. We're at Chase William Hair Studio right by Wawa. And then we have a website, Chase Williams Salon. And you can online book there. I'm not a big social media person. I have a girl that does it for me, but we're on Facebook and Instagram. I would say the best way is just to call.
What's the number, Chad?
It's 908.
Yeah.
874-4848.
Cool. Yeah, man. This has been good, man. I got to learn some stuff about you I didn't know, in more detail. So that was really cool, man. And appreciate you taking the time. I'm sure people are going to be inspired by this. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle. I appreciate it too, man. I appreciate all your advice all the time too.
Yeah, man. It's my pleasure, man. Let me bring this to a stop.